There is one kind of idea that really pisses me off when it comes to fitness. Now, it is not a very popular one, and it is a pretty dumb one, I won't sit here and lie, but it is the idea that, so this idea comes from people who look at those extremely jacked guys who dedicated all of their life into fitness, who trains 4, 5, 6 times per week for 2, 3, 4 hours each session, and develop the misconception, the bad idea that getting in shape, that building muscle requires tons of hours of working out. Now, even though this idea is partially true because training volume, when intensity is checked off, increases gains, the idea that one cannot get in shape without dedicating those hours, without putting in this time, is just really dumb in my opinion. In this video, I will give you 2 approaches that will allow you to train between 2 to 3 times per week for 45 minutes to 1 hour. There is the gym approach and there is the at-home approach. After going over them, I will give you one training plan for each one that by following, you will be able to completely transform your body. Now let's start with the difference between the two when it comes to time efficiency. Both can be very time efficient, but the main difference is that when training at home or at work, which are very similar things, the key difference is that you don't need to both commute to the gym, to go to the gym, to drive there, to walk to there, to go back from the gym, and in the gym you will not need to depend on whether the machines are free or not, or occupied, right? It will take less time essentially. That's the pro. The con, it is that it essentially costs more, right? You need to buy the equipment. A gym membership these days is very cheap and easy to acquire, and you have a lot more equipment in there. And you know, you can do a lot more in relation to your house or at work when you will need to either buy the equipment or work in a place that have great equipment, which it will either cost money or just will be impossible. So it is about the equipment, mainly, right? There are more cons, more pros, these are the main ones. Both can work, I won't sit here and lie, both can get you in amazing shape in terms of building muscle, right? The diet will need to be taken care of, you will need to take care of your sleep too, to some extent. But when it comes to training, so when not training, you will not build muscle at all, you will be skinny, alright? If you will lose weight and not train, you will get skinny. Or if you will not lose weight, you will just stay chubby or something, you will just be chubby. In order to attain a muscular physique, to be in shape, you will need to have some muscle on your frame. Most people will not get too big from training, all people essentially will not get too big from training, and those who can't really acquire a lot of muscle mass will still attain a better physique than they have before training, after training, by training, right? And that is the thing in the gym, the one training plan that will allow you to spend the least amount of time there and still get most results is a full body split, in which you will prioritize compound exercises, even though doing some isolations is great. I will give you a training plan in a second. But before that, another massive thing that can cause you to spend a lot less time in the gym and still see massive results is superset. When supersetting between antagonist muscle groups, you basically double the amount of sets that you do while still getting very similar quality work. There was a meta-analysis, right, very high quality form of evidence that showed that the difference between antagonist muscle groups, supersetting them, and just performing them separately in terms of hypertrophy was almost negligible, which means that you will be able, if you will do superset instead of just separate sets, to achieve similar hypertrophy outcomes, right, and spend almost half of the time in the gym. That's amazing, and that's another thing that can allow you to spend a lot less time in the gym and still get a lot of results. So it's about doing more compound exercises in isolation because they work on more muscle groups. So compound exercises are exercises that work on many muscle groups, not just one like isolation. On top of that, if you will superset antagonist muscle groups with compound exercises, you will be able to not only work on a few muscle groups at once, you will work on double them. So you can, for example, superset a compound exercise of chest press, which will work on your triceps, on your front heads, and on your chest, on your pectorals, with a row movement which will work on your biceps, forearms and back. You can do so and you will see amazing results. And because of the diminishing curve of results when it comes to strength and in hypertrophy it is more linear, but there is a degree of diminishing results still, you will be able to get most results from performing 6 to 14 hard sets per week per muscle group with this approach. Now, it is not the most optimal, the best way to do stuff, because if you would do more sets, you would see more results for sure. But it is the way to go for those who don't have a lot of time. Training twice per week with this training plan that I'm now going to cover will allow you to achieve a lot of muscle gain, especially as a beginner, because as a beginner you will see more muscle growth than you will see in your whole journey. You will gain a lot of muscle and you will get in a way better shape, especially at the beginning and afterwards. Even though at the more later stages of training more volume is required, you will still be able to either maintain or improve marginally your physique. That will be amazing after a few months and years of training. And that's the training plan. Now, I've just made it up. This is just an example. It is not the best one, it is not the most optimal one, but it can work, right? You can use it if you want, but no recommendation on my side. I just made it up. The first exercise will be a superset between a form of chest press or flies and a row movement. You essentially you either do flies, cable flies, or flies in a machine, or chest press, and then you go and you do any kind of row movement. You can do seated row, you can do cable rows, whatever, right? You do it for 8 sets. Now, this is a lot of sets, right? You rest between each set for 1.5 minutes. It is a lot of sets, but that's the main movement for both chest and back for this session. It should take around 15 minutes to do all of these sets, and you will achieve massive hypertrophy benefits when it comes to your chest. If you will do a chest press instead of a fly movement, you will also see massive benefits when it comes to triceps. And then when it comes to the row movement, if you will use different angles targeting your chest when it comes to your elbows, so you will do this angle and then this angle between the sets, you will target all of your back muscles, if not the vast majority of them. And because of that, you will achieve great stimulus on your back. If you would use a natural or supinated grip, you will achieve some bicep development from it too. And that's amazing. That's just 15 minutes of working out. On top of that, the next exercise would be an overhead press, just to target the shoulders for 3 sets, right? Taken very close to muscular failure. The caveat is that all of the sets in these exercises should be taken to a point that is very close to muscular failure. An RIR of 2 or 3 or 1, an RIR is reps and reserve, right? So you should train pretty damn hard. I didn't say that it would be easy, because intensity is hard, and intensity is crucial for muscle growth. It is very important. And because of the fact that we do lower volume than otherwise, than train for 5 times per week, it is extra important to make sure that you lock in your intensity during these exercises. If you have a very hard time cardio-wise doing like supersets, the 8 fucking supersets at the beginning, then you can try to separate them. It will take more time, right? If you have more time and you have a hard time cardio-wise, you can separate them for sure. And then the third exercise, which would be another superset between 3 exercises this time. So again, if you have a really hard time cardio-wise doing it, you can either improve your cardio long term and then you will be able to do it, or just separate some of these into either 1 superset and 1 normal exercise, or just 3 separate exercises. And it is a superset between biceps, triceps, and lateral raises. So we all want to look aesthetic, of course we want to, and for doing so, some isolation movements are necessary. Now, even though your biceps and triceps would see some development and your lateral raises from the compound movements that we do beforehand, it is, I don't think, enough for optimal growth or for great growth. So in this case, this superset would be for around 6 sets. Nothing crazy, right? You can adjust it to your own needs. It is just an example. It is not the best way to do things. I've just made it up, right? Again. But it is a pretty good one. And then there are the 2 last exercises. These ones will be done separately. They can be done together, but this would not be optimal, and they are very hard compound exercises. These are for the legs. RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, and squats. They should be done for between 3 to 5 working sets, hard ones. And this is an example for a training plan that can be absolutely awesome for the gym for maximized growth. By doing it twice per week and resting between each session for around 2 days, you should be able to get amazing results. And if you want to do it 3 times per week, then reduce some of the sets. Instead of doing 8 sets for cable flies and seated rows, do 4 sets, right? You will still be able to get between 6 to 14 sets per muscle per week. Minimum, right? 6 is the fucking minimum, it's the bare minimum, but it is enough. It is enough to see growth, especially for the first 2 years of training. And then there is at home. So at home, you will need to buy a pull-up bar and adjustable dumbbells, right? You can buy either one, not together. So if you want to buy only a pull-up bar, you can do so, and still you would be able to train most muscle groups. But I would really suggest that you buy adjustable dumbbells and a bench, right? A bench. And if you would do so, you would be able to target all muscle groups essentially. With just adjustable dumbbells and a bench, you would be able to do so. With just a pull-up bar, you will not be able to target your legs to the greatest extent, but it would be cheaper. So what I would do at home, very similar principles to the fucking gym one. I would prioritize compound exercises, I would do supersets, everything included, right? But I would just use what I have. Instead of using a cable to do cable flies, I would do push-ups. To use the progressive overload principle, I would use some weight on my back. I would progressively increase it, I would get stronger. If I would have a bench, I would use it with dumbbells, and I would do bench press, flies. I would do some overhead extensions for my triceps. I would curl for my biceps. I would not be able to do Romanian deadlifts with a lot of weight. I would need to do single leg Romanian deadlifts and single leg squats. Why? Because the weight will be a limitation. When having adjustable dumbbells, they usually go up to 60, 70 pounds. And as a beginner, this can be fine for you, right? To consistently stimulate progressive overload with good intensity. But as you will keep progressing, after a month or 2 or 3, you will probably get stronger than that. And for this reason, you would probably have to do some single leg stuff when it comes to leg exercises. So the structure would be pretty damn similar. I would work on my side delts, I would work on my shoulders, I would do overhead presses, I would do a superset between biceps and triceps, I would still work on my back and my chest simultaneously, of course. But it's just that I would use what I have. I would buy some equipment just so I have something to work with. Just doing things with just body weight can work, especially if you have a pull-up bar, but it is not really optimal. Buying adjustable dumbbells for a progressive overload so you can increase and reduce the weight, and a bench is very important. And by doing so, you will not need to commute to the gym. You will not need to join people in their sets and just not be able to work in a machine because someone is there. You will not have to go through all of these time-consuming things. You will be able to spend less time training and still get as many, if not more, results. And that's essentially it. If you enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.